Welcome to this spiritual guidance channel, Blessed Souls. I'm the magical medium, and today I wanted to talk to you about mind body makeover. So, I have a few messages from Spirit for the collective, and then I'm going to dive into these 3 readings before you. And if you don't want to listen to the messages from the collective, that is absolutely fine. If you just want to go to the reading that is calling to you, maybe there's more than one, then go to the description box below, find your reading. It'll say reading 1, 2, 3, and then there's a link underneath, and it'll take you to the private reading. Okay. So from left to right, we have reading 1, Selenite, reading 2, clear quartz crystal, and reading 3, Carnelian. And today we are working with the Crystal Oracle and the Mind Body Makeover Oracle cards. I'm very excited to do this reading. I am feeling like hammered shit. Today is Wednesday, May 18th, 2022, in real time when I'm doing this. And, as I've said before, my moon is in Scorpio, so I do feel a little beat to shit after the last... Actually, I've kind of been going balls to the wall for the last several weeks, so I took a few days to kind of like chill, relax, work on my own stuff, work on my own relationships, which has been really rewarding and really awesome. And those of you who know me and my partner Alder, we are good. We are back in the love nest. Life is good. We're excited. We're moving forward. We're not sure where we're going to land or what's going to happen, but as of today, we have exactly 4 weeks until our expiration date here on the farm, which is fine. I think it's been really an interesting way for my husband and I to see ourselves and our relationship and what we want, what we don't want in our personal lives, and then together as a couple. It's just been really enlightening. I'm not even mad about it, I'm really not. I said to him, I go, honestly, I'm at the point where I'm just grateful that we're leaving because I know it's time to go. And I've had a lot of epiphanies over these last several weeks, and the abuse and mistreatment that we've been getting from this person that, we thought was like family to us. We've been here almost 5 years, and not to talk out of school, but it's just, I'm at the point now where I know Spirit, whatever is in store for us, is going to be magical and magnificent. And for those of you who don't know, when we moved in here almost 5 years ago, we had $200 in a prayer. We had 10 days to figure something out, and this place happened. So, you just never know. That's why I know that whatever miracle is waiting for us is out there. I told him, I said, even if it is that we get Big Camper back on the road and we travel, or you know what I mean? I'm like, whatever is meant to be, I'm ready for change. And I know that, even if we're living out of our car, I was like, and I don't care, you know what I mean? Because we don't have to be under someone's thumb anymore. And I urge you, if you're under any type of restraint or any type of chaotic magic around you from those who are super powerful, but they don't know what they're doing, right? And they're just like pew pew pew, and they're just like spewing off like darkness left and right, and you're like, I can't keep up. Spirit saying, you're not alone. And we have been, the energy field that we've been in for almost 5 years has taught us so much. I mean, so much. It's like there's no really describing it, because it's been amazing. But I will say this: we are surrounded by a cult and hardcore Trump people who literally practice guns up here, and I hear hooting and hollering, and it's not a good energy, but it's made us stronger warriors. And I feel like it's been our kind of spiritual warfare that we've had to endure. We've had to learn how we're also right on the road, Big Camper's right on the road. And when we first moved in here, it was a dead end road, and it was pretty quiet. And over the last nearly 5 years we've been here, it's just been there's just been so many changes in the outer world too, you know what I mean, which has affected our world here. It's just been unbelievable. And, you know, I sat with Spirit because I was like, man, did I really fuck us? Like, I was just like, did I fuck us? Like, should I have just let Missy bleed out? Should I have just let that happen? Should I have just, you know, and for those of you who don't know, we live on a working farm, and there's been some incidences here why we're really not getting along with our landlord right now. And I'm normally don't talk out of school, but I feel like they want me to share this with you. Is because for years I know how she is, and I just would take it and take it and take it. And she's older. She's literally the same age as my mom. Talk about magic, okay? So she's the same age as my mom. Not only that, but we live in the Pacific Northwest. I grew up in the south side of Chicago. She went to high school with my mom. What are the fucking odds? 2,000 miles away. And I got this place before I ever knew that she knew my mom. I didn't know for at least a month after we lived here that she knew my mom. She's like, so you're from Chicago? She said she was from Chicago too, but she never really, you know, said. And so anyway, I mean, there's just been all these synchronicities, and I think we've put up with each other in a lot of ways because of that, because of our love for my mom. And but you know, it finally just came to a head where, you know, one of the horses next door was hurt really bad, and nobody was around to help her, and it was really, really bad. And she sliced her Achilles tendon, and I mean, she was screaming. She couldn't get up. She was trying to walk. It was horrible. It was like, you know, and a little warning for my empaths, because it was, you may want to go la 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 right now, but seriously, it was like a waterfall of blood. I mean, she would have bled out. There's no way she wouldn't have bled out if somebody hadn't stepped in and did something. And so my landlord was mad at us and said, you know what? You should have told me. And I didn't tell her because she doesn't like us dealing with them or whatever. And I just didn't want to deal with it. And she doesn't talk to them. It's like the Hatfields and the McCoys. And I was just like, okay, cool. They don't talk to each other. I probably should have said something in hindsight, but I knew that if I did, I knew it was like, no matter what I did, she was going to be mad. So if I told her, she was going to be mad. If I didn't tell her, she was going to be mad. So, you know, I was like, well, hopefully it'll just, you know, pass over. And it didn't. and so here we are. And when she confronted me about it, I said, you know, in the most loving way I could, I was like, what did you want me to do? Let her die? And she was like, yes. And I said, well, I'm sorry. She's my friend. There's no way I was going to let her die. If she wanted me to let her die, I would have. I'm like, she didn't want me to. I'm like, so I held on with her, and I, you know, helped her until the owners came down and got her. And, you know, there's a lot of acreage around here. So, you know, they had to like come down from up the hill and come get her and like walk her back up and everything. And so it was a mess. It was a mess. And, you know, I've just held my tongue for so long here out of respect. And then all of a sudden I was like, this is like living with my fucking parents. It's like the same thing. Or like, you know, being at that job or being in that place. And I was like, I'm like, we fucking pay rent here. I'm like, when I added up like how much money we've like spent here, I'm like, we could have bought a small home for how much money we've paid in rent here almost 5 years. And I just was like, you know, that's just really disrespectful to treat us like that. And the crazy thing is, she's treating him the same. She's always liked him, but she and I spar. She's an Aries, I'm a Sag. We spar a lot. And I've had Aries in my life where it's like that too. And there's like a love and there's like an awesomeness there, and we get along good and we get each other and we understand things. But like at the end of the day, it's like Aries, in my experience, especially a lot of Aries in their chart, have to be the boss, be in charge. They're the first sign of the zodiac. They want to be the first one there. They want to, you know what I mean? And even in the beginning, she didn't want to tell me when her birthday was. And I was like, why? And she's like, oh, because I feel like people judge me, you know, when they find out like, you know, my sign and my rising and all that. So I was like, okay, interesting. I was like, I wonder why. So you guys know I'm not here to bash people or talk about people. That's not what I do. I'm a loving entity, but I also speak my fucking truth. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. I've told you this from day one. I can't talk the talk and not walk the walk. When I spoke my truth, if I had handled it differently, if I had kissed her ass, if I had been like, I'm so sorry, please give us another, you know, if I'd done all that and said, you're right, I'm sorry, I disobeyed you, master, you know, like, because that's what she wants. She has to be in control, you know, and honestly, it's freaky how much she's like my mom. And so my partner and I were sitting here and I'm like, man, she's like my mom and your mom, like rolled up into one. And so for every negative thing that I've thought about her or I've just sent a positive thing. I'm like, she's also the angel who saved our ass when we had nowhere to go. I'm like, she's also been really good to us on many levels, and we've been good to her. And I'm not going to take this bad ending. I'm not going to let it turn into a bad ending. I just want to start my new beginning, and I want to walk away with as much grace as possible. And honestly, it's like, I know in my heart, Spirit has this all planned out. But I did sit down with them and I was like, Baba and Alder live here too. And I was like, was I a selfish brat? Let me learn from this. And I just heard, it does not matter if that went down that way or not, you would still be leaving. And I was like, okay. And that was so reassuring to me, because I feel like I knew that deep down, but I just needed to know for sure, because I don't want to control another person's destiny. And even now with her, it's like, I do send her love, and I am in extreme gratitude, like extreme, extreme, extreme gratitude for everything that we have learned here, that we, have been taught. I've seen some really ugly things. I've seen some really beautiful things. And it's been literally the last 5 years we have been in Washington. We were in one farm first, and then we came to this one. We have learned so much. And so what this whole culmination of this is, when I looked down, it was 11:21 and it turned into 11:22. So those are angel numbers again. But the whole culmination of why I was sharing this with you guys is yesterday was my 7-year anniversary that Alder and I met, or our 7-year anniversary that we met each other. And today is 11 years that I've been in the Pacific Northwest. And I moved to Portland first, and I was there for 6 years, and then I moved up to Washington, and now I've been up here for 5. It's been so magical. There's been so many cool things that have happened, and I just want you guys to know that, change is possible. And sometimes you got to be kicked out of the nest. The irony is, the interesting thing is, when she sent us the email, it was so passive aggressive and so fucked up on multiple levels. Like, even Alder, he's like the sweetest. Like, he doesn't really like judge people or say anything nasty. He's just not like that. But even he, like, after, he read it, he was like, wow, he's like, that was really messed up. He's like, it's like she blamed everything on you and Dolly, Bubba. I call her Bubba, but her real name is Dolly. And he's like, that's just really uncool. And I was like, yeah. And so I realized, I was like, even though I'm 50 and they are in their 70s, I started to realize that age really is just a number. And some people grow up and they mature, and some people stay the same or they get worse. And when we moved in here, it was a completely different world. And I watched her deteriorate. Like, literally when we got here, she was using all organic products. Like, she loved that we used organic. Like, it was, she was all about organic soil and tending to the earth and blah, 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 blah. And in that time, in nearly 5 years, because we're coming up in a few months, it would be 5 years that we'd be here. I've watched her like not use those things anymore. She follows this, I'm sorry, but it is a cult. I'm not going to say the name, but she follows a very horrible cultish energy that is not healthy. And basically told her like that she didn't need to do all that, and that she can just think she can think the clothes and think her products and think like all of these things like into pure being. And it's like, if that's the case, if that were true, then we wouldn't be, all of us spiritual like gurus and shamans and leaders that are here right now would not be pushing for everyone to eat healthy, take good care of themselves, don't use chemicals, don't, you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why. It's because Gaia doesn't want it. And that just like, and I know that's what turned her, but I can't like make somebody believe something, and there's nothing I can do. Even now, she'd probably think I was an asshole, or she would think, and the truth is, maybe I am. Maybe she's right and I'm wrong. I don't know. It's not coming off as a judgment. It's an observation. Like, I just know who I am and what I am meant here to do. And I know I'm one of the few elite that are here to help people like correct the energy on the planet, correct like what's happening, because we've been under this like slave mentality for thousands of years through religion and politics, through this kind of mind, controlling bullshit that isn't fucking true, in the truth that I know it. And it's just interesting. And it's, when we first moved here, he and I were very weak. We were in very fragile states. We both just came off of some really heavy shit with our families. I was going into some heavy shit with my family. It was just a really traumatic, horrible time. But when we got here, it was like landing in like a fairy tale land. Like, I literally call the forest next door the fairy forest, because there is a magical, beautiful vibe here. And there's these elder trees that are here that are hundreds of years old. They're magnificent, these old cedars. And I talk to them and I talk to the earth and that, but it's like she's like my mom, in terms of like where they're like these powerful witchy creatures. They're like these fairy like creatures, but they're choosing, like she's choosing her cult, my mom's choosing her Christian cult. I'm just using them as a word to give you like my perception of it. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of these bullshit, of course I want people to believe in whatever they want. I'm not like in some persecution, whatever. It's like, I'm going to love you. I'll keep bringing up that Tupac quote, right? It's like, we may not be friends anymore, but I still want you to eat, just not at my table. It's like, I want them to be well and be happy. And that's why I'm like, no, we're happy to leave. But she sent us another email the other day that was just like, how's your progress? And at that point, we still had almost 5 weeks that we had agreed upon when we'd move out. And I'm like, you just fucking asked us like 2 weeks ago. I told her we'd let her know if we were working on anything or any progress. And again, it was like this very passive aggressive email. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then it was just like another confirmation that I realized, I'm like, no, we need to go. Like, we're, you know what I mean? Like, everything around here, they can stay here together and praise Trump and shoot off guns and kill animals and, whatever. But that's not where we come from. That's not how we roll. And I literally would seriously rather live out of our car than live here anymore. So, sometimes you do have to just say, this is not working for me. This is super unhealthy. And most of you, if you've, been following me for years, or if you're new here, welcome. I seriously try very, 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 very hard not to talk about other people, because it's, what they think of me is none of my business, and what I think of them is none of their business. But at the same time, if you found yourself here, I think a lot of people in our tribe are really struggling with where they live, or who they're living with, or their relationships. A lot of people in our tribe are waking up faster and faster and faster and faster, so fast they can't keep up. I'm getting messages from you guys left and right. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling really creative, or man, I'm so ready to move, or I'm going to redo my house, or I'm happy about this, or my kids are doing that. And, but there's a lot of change, an influx of change happening. And now that we're past this, eclipse season, we're still in the remnants of it. We're still, the full moon in Scorpio is gone, but we're still kind of feeling the energy of it, because Mercury is still in retrograde. But, we also have, Venus, love it, Aries in, Jupiter in Aries. And so once Mercury goes direct in the first week in June, I think things are just going to blow up. And I was trying to, get that through to my partner yesterday. I'm like, we have got to think positive. I'm like, I am telling you, I'm like, we found this place on a fucking wing and a prayer, man. And I said, we will find somewhere else. I'm like, Spirit didn't bring us this far just to bring us this far. And what's interesting is that these are the mind body makeover cards, but one flew out for me. And, this is the one that came for me, Healing Sadness number 7. And 7 is my life path number, which is really powerful. And it says, in partnership with the universe, I move through my emotional conflicts and find a peaceful resolution. See, but the mind body makeover, this is like what our higher self is telling us. The flip side is what our ego or our shadow is trying to tell us. And the side says, God has it in for me. The universe doesn't hear my voice. And for the longest time, I would like scream at spirit and say, why are we still here? Why are we still here? I don't fucking get it. I'm like, I'm working hard every single day. Why am I not making hand over fist? Why this? And just a lot of whining. And, you know, I watched this old episode of Modern Family when Lily's starting to get really funny when she's around 4 or 5. And she's like, oh, come on. She's stop being a crybaby. She's like, do you want me to get the ambulance? And I just laugh so hard because, of course, we should have moments where we feel sorry for ourselves and we cry and we go kick fucking rocks outside and scream and punch a pillow. Yeah, that's normal. But then you know what we do? We pick ourselves back up, we dust ourselves off, and we say, all right, you know what? Not on my watch. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to, I feel like I've been letting so many things hold me back. And I feel like that moment in The Wizard of Oz where Dorothy gets there and she's like, okay, so he's got, you know, a brain, he's got a heart, but she's like, what about me? How am I going to get home? And she's like, you've had the power all along, you know, she's like, click your fucking, you know, ruby red slippers together. And that's how I feel now is in a weird way, her like quote unquote like asking us to leave, it was the best thing ever, because what she doesn't know is we were planning on it anyway. We gave ourselves like at the end of June, like we didn't want to spend another summer here, that there's too many cool places, even if we had to live on a big camper, you know. He's like, we'll just, you know, she's a gas guzzler and gas is crazy right now. He's like, but you know, maybe we can spend like $100 in gas, but we go stay somewhere for a few weeks, you know, and then we go to this place. And then I was like, yeah, you know, it's like it's like fear is an illusion. You know, it really is an illusion. And the two of us had gotten so spun out after that happened. It's like he was working on his stuff, I was working on my stuff, and we just like imploded together. And we both were like, yeah, I just want to be on my own. He's like, yeah, I just want to be on my own. But the more I was like, you know, looking for a place, and the more I was like, every place I looked, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. That doesn't feel right. And then when I would look at like a really cute little place, I would start to envision myself there with him and Baba. And it was like, I would start to get emotional. I'm like, yeah, that feels right. Because all of the pain and suffering, every person who's ever hurt me, every person who ever said they loved me and abandoned me, right? I feel that. And I'm like, all I've ever wanted was a home. But I did not want a home like the one I grew up in that was broken. That was, you know, my father and my mother were constantly fighting and hitting each other and hurting each other. My mom stuck a fork in my dad's back. I remember when I was very little, like one of those big ass like meat forks, like from the barbecue. I mean, I seen some shit, right? Like that no child should see. I've been through a lot. I've been on my own basically since I was 12, but like in my own apartment, in my own dwelling since I was 19, and I'm 50. You know, and I've stayed with people here and there, and I took a year off to go back to school when I was 38 or 39, you know, and live with my mom and my stepdad. And even then, it's like I've learned so much. And now this will be my 29th move in 50 years. Now, my lifestyle is not for everybody. I'm a triple Sag and my moon's in Scorpio. So I like to move around. I like the freedom. I like to learn. You know, I just want to peace, love, and let's have a good time kind of person. You know, let's take care of each other. Let's investigate. Let's not overreact, you know. But my whole life, I realized it's like I looked back on everything, and even the situation living here, I've just been keeping my mouth shut or and I was like, what am I doing? For what? To stay here? And why? It's a big world out there. But you know what? The irony is, right before the pandemic, we were going to move. We looked at a place, we were like a hair away from moving. And then the pandemic happened and everything shut down. And then, you know, I could tell she was glad we were here, you know, because she wasn't working. And it was just, you know, we all like helped each other. And now it's like, okay, it's time to go. We don't need her. She doesn't need us. And we're a hinder to her. At least I am, because I speak my truth. I mean, now I haven't even gone over to pet any of the animals. I haven't played with the chickens. I haven't, you know, and I knew that was when I said to him, I go, you know why she asked us to leave? Because I told her after that happened, I was like, you know, when she went off on me, I said, hey, you know what? I'm like, I'll stay in my space. You stay in yours. I'm like, I'm not going to help with the animals anymore. I'm not going to do any of that. And I did so much for free around here. And isn't it interesting? The second I wasn't going to help her, she's like, yeah, I think you're unhappy here. I think you should go. Yeah. You know, just fucking call it the way it is. You know, just say it the way it is. If you don't want me here, say you don't want me here, but don't like, you know, make it about me. And it's like, please. I'm done with people's shit. I'm done with people pinning their shit on me. I'm done with people, you know, putting their crap on me in whatever way, you know. It's like I am here to love, respect, hold space for, and walk along with those who are here to fight for love, for peace, for happiness and understanding, and no judgment and no bullshit. I'm just I can't anymore. Like I can't. And it may even come off like I'm saying like I'm judging her, but I'm not. I'm judging like I'm or I should say I'm not judging. This has literally just been like my experience, and I'm done playing a role for somebody. And I, you know, she's really a bully, and I've known that since day one. And I've had interactions with her over and over and over where I've allowed her to bully me because it's just, I've learned that if I spoke back, that I'd be punished, basically, in one form or another. This is the second time she's asked us to leave in almost 5 years. So, you know, it's like when you get to the point where you're like, I've had enough, then walk away. Because I love that today it's been 11 years that I lived in the Pacific Northwest, because it was 11 years ago that I told everybody I'm done with this bullshit. And it's taken me 11 years and peeling back lots of layers of this onion for me to finally come back to who I've always been. And I'm a beautiful soul, but I'm a badass motherfucker. So I'm just like, you know what? I won't be pushed around anymore. I won't be told what to do anymore. I won't be made fun of anymore. You know, it's like she'd make fun of me for being a vegan. And then when Alder, after, you know, he had that horrible accident a few years ago, he decided to go off coffee and go vegan and change his life. She gave him so much flack about that in such a horrible, horrible, shitty way, where it's like, you know what? He's trying to better himself and better his diet, you know, but she was like, oh, you're turning to the dark side like her, like I was becoming vegan. I'm like, oh my God. I've never judged anybody for eating meat if that's what you want to do, you know, but it's like, don't judge me for my choices. So with that all being said, thank you. My mind body makeover is this, that I don't ever want to even talk about another person like this again. I don't ever want to have to deal with these kind of conversations with somebody, you know, because I need the freedom and the money and the support in all areas of my life to be 100% my fucking self. Whatever that looks like, whenever it looks like it does. So today, we've got multiple messages from the crystals. Each reading has more than one card in here. And then each of these piles in the readings from the Mind Body Makeover, you can see there's lots of cards. So we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to work through. So I hope you are brave enough to go in and hear what it is that you need to. 2737, another angel number. Ooh, 2737. So 37 is 10, 20, so was it 19? And 9 and 1 is 10, exactly. Endings and new beginnings, baby. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being a part of this tribe. Thank you for listening. You know, Spirit has me share my stories, my personal stories with you to give you your own insight. You know, sometimes we need to understand what's going on in the world through the eyes of the people that we know and we love and trust the most. And I appreciate your love and I appreciate your support. I appreciate the follows, the likes, the subscriptions, the comments, the donations, the bookings. I'm doing a long distance Reiki session this Sunday. I actually haven't done Reiki or long distance Reiki in a really long time, but it has been calling to me a lot. I put them into our readings. I always hope that you guys, you know, I call to your higher selves that, you know, if you are ready to receive the healing energy, that you will. So I always hope you feel physically better after these readings. But if you would like to book a long distance Reiki with me, let me know and we can do that. Okay, so we have reading 1, Selenite, reading 2, clear quartz crystal, and reading 3, Carnelian, and I will see you over at your readings. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. All the information that I said is in the description box below, and the link to your reading, and I'll see you over there. Blessed be. Oh.